Hello everyone and welcome to another pick a card reading. I hope you're all doing really well. It's really good to have you here. And thank you to all of my new subscribers and to everyone that's making it here. It's really good to see you. Now, today I'll be looking at a question which is just kind of come to me in terms of thinking about, do your spirit guides want to connect with you, or is it specifically your ancestors? I may do another 2 readings with your spirit guides and your angel guides or your team. But I don't know, specifically your ancestors wanted to come through here. So let's see what they have to say. You have 3 piles to choose from, as usual. You have pile 1, which is the Broken Mirror Tarot, and you have this beautiful Cinnabar stone. Pile 2, you have the Rainbow Heart Tarot, and you have this lovely blue topaz. And then you have pile 3, which is the Wild Unknown Tarot, and you have this Magnesite. So, messages from your ancestors, pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Timestamps will be in the description box below, and I'll see you at your reading. Bye. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. So, you chose the Cinnabar crystal or this one here, which is the Broken Mirror Tarot. Now, messages from your ancestors. Definitely feeling like something to do with the bloodline and something that may have come at a cost. A cost of something. The thing is that it actually wields quite a lot of material wealth, even though you may not be experiencing that right now, because Cinnabar is associated with wealth, but it's highly toxic. You can't actually handle it on its own. In its polished form, it's okay because it doesn't powder off. But it's actually really, really toxic. It's one of the most toxic substances known to man, Cinnabar. So, but it's beautiful. So there may be something about the past that was, about your family history that may have been quite toxic, but it's actually something that's very valuable, and almost integral to your own development and learning. So let's have a little bit of a deeper look into that. I'll look at the tarot a little bit later, but what I will do is I'll place your Cinnabar just there. And let's have a look at some of your oracle cards. Now, for those of you who have been my regular readers, you will have noticed that this is a little bit of a different setup than I normally do. I've just tried to do some crystals because I was just a bit bored with how it was just plain. So I thought, and some of my crystals were like, they've just been on shelves. Like, you know how crystals just on shelves are just tired? And they just, they just sit there. Yeah, they need to come into play right now. Okay, so I've got colour here. That's really interesting, colour. This is a palmistry deck, but it means here in this respect about the colour of the palms and about what the colour actually means. Excuse me. So in respect to my palms here, I don't know if you can see it, but this one is slightly more yellow than this one here. So for those of you who do palmistry, you could probably screenshot my palms there and and see my life. But here we have colour and it is reversed, so I'm going to take it as that. Now, because we've got this kind of setup here, I'm going to try and see if I can still put 2 lines of things here. I hope I can. But it's going to be a little bit difficult. We'll see how it goes. I'm so used to having space. So we shall see, but kind of like it. Let me know what you think, like the aesthetic. For those of you who've watched my readings before, if you haven't, then this will be brand new to you. But I like having the support of my crystals here. They're really lovely. Or my crystal babies, all the crystal babies I'm deciding to take care of right now. Okay, we've got elephant, again reversed. Okay. Definitely some kind of destabilization energy here. What do your ancestors want to say to you? Okay, I'm going to wait for that actually. I'll do these after. What do your ancestors want to say to you? I do want an astrology deck for you, my darlings, because I feel like I need it. Even though we don't have... I do have another astrology deck for you, but I need a bit more astrology at the moment. It's speaking quite loudly at the moment, astrology. So let's see. I mean, okay, so a lack of colour and also elephant is destabilised. Let's go with that for the moment. What I'm getting from here already is that there is maybe some kind of possible matriarch that was challenged, and there are some lessons that you are learning in this lifetime that may be resonating with that, like maybe healing that. Solar eclipse. Okay, so we're just on the verge of eclipse season. Even though this reading is timeless, and there is a chance that, well, there is more than likely that the energy of what's going on now at this time probably has something to do with what was going on then. It is upright, so this means that there's a positive shift in what's going on. Messages from your ancestors. Rebirth. Okay. And spring. And the Shiva Lingam. Okay, that's good. Okay. Now, the time I'm doing this reading is of spring. It is a time where those energies are coming into play, so that is relevant. What I will say though, well, what I will say, it's not though, is that there has been a time where things have been remained dormant for a long time, and now this is a time of spring. It's a time of things actually coming to life. It's so interesting actually, because you know, with this kind of imagery, even though the majority of places that have these statues in the Shiva Lingam there in those places, for example in the southern hemisphere, they don't usually celebrate their spring until like say September, but at the moment, so that might be relevant for you as well, but at the moment I'm doing this in the northern hemisphere spring, so it's just interesting. So those two times may be quite interesting for you in terms of your connections to your ancestors. It may be a relative's birthday who's passed on. It may be the anniversary of someone passing. But there's something very powerful about this time. It could be the fall of a matriarch. It could be. But from that, there is a massive kind of, you know, sense of birth rising. We have Empress energy here with 21 as well. So it's almost like something that was lacking in colour and lacking in life has now started to eclipse into life. Something where you thought you weren't able to have life in a particular space, and now it's starting to come through. So let's have a look at what the tarot has to say about all of this. Okay, what Does pile one's ancestors want to say pile one? Okay, so we have the 5 of, can you see that? Yeah, only just. Right, okay, so we have the 5 of Cups. We have the Magician reversed. And we have the 9 of Swords. Okay, I'm going to do this like this. I've been so spoilt with space previously, so I'm just like, oh. That's the Queen of Coins reversed. Wow, okay. And then we've got the 7 of Cups reversed. Wow, okay. If you've been having dreams about this, about your ancestors, do heed, do listen to what they have to say. I'll be honest with you though, it does feel like somebody either, okay, there's several things I'm seeing. It's either that there was someone in the ancestral line who was an exceptionally controlling individual, possibly manipulative, and somebody managed to break the cycle of them. And this was almost like a, like I can see the patterning. This Queen of Coins reversed almost created this kind of figure. So, okay, this may be a bit abstract and this might not resonate with you, but or it might resonate to a situation, but only take what resonates, okay? Don't make it fit. I'm seeing somebody who was a kind of not a very stable female figure who almost kind of either gave, no, actually I'm seeing it the other way around. It's somebody who wasn't a very, you know, almost borderline narcissistic, and or had quite strong manipulative tendencies that caused some kind of destabilization. So it's almost like, and I've when I've worked with clients, I've seen it, that sometimes the great grandparent kind of like influences the grandparent, or the grandparent influences the parent, and then that kind of like causes them to go into a sense of something very destructive. Because what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing 5 of Cups going to 7 of Cups. So though I think what happens is that there may have been an issue with alcohol here, or some kind of like, it does definitely feel like drink, because we've got a lot of we've got Queen of Cups reverse, Queen of Coins actually, Queen of Coins. Okay, it could be to do with drink related because we've got these 2 here, but Queen of Coins is kind of like almost not able to maintain a sense of stability. This could even be you. This could even be like a paternal or a maternal figure. It doesn't have to be actually, because Magician can either be paternal or maternal. But I don't actually see the Emperor reversed, but there is a strong manipulative energy here. And particularly when, you know, with colour reversed and Elephant reversed, colour reversed often makes me feel that, I don't know, I'm just getting this sense that when you do a lot of narcotics, either drink or drugs or anything like that, or any kind of like things that, you know, that you use to get to a certain state, like high or whatever, you tend to like lose your color. You know, people will be really white the next day, or like pale the next day or something, and that's what that reminds me of. It reminds me of the lack of like life, and particularly with Elephant reversed, it's almost like there's something about, I'm just feeling like a matriarch has fallen. You know, I'm just seeing that. And with the eclipse, it's almost like, you know, this energy had to, you're almost like, You're redeeming this energy. And I mean, to be fair, this is the situation that happened before with your ancestors, not now. So we're going to see what happened and how that is relevant to you now. But I just feel that there's some kind of, you know, sadness. And it could have been that your ancestor, somebody, maybe they may have lost something, may have lost a child, may have lost, you know, may have lost wealth, something. And it exacerbated a situation that really caused some major distress and a lack of stability. And maybe a possibility into, it could also be gambling, like something where basically bets were hedged on something, where there was a belief if, like, say, drinking or gambling. That's what I'm seeing here, because it's almost like putting faith into something that didn't really pan out. So this is the kind of, like, almost like your ancestors, I feel, are saying that this is what's been here. And I don't know if that kind of pattern is playing out in your life at the moment, or whether or not you know someone that's playing out, that this kind of pattern is playing out. If this doesn't resonate, it's not your reading. But it just feels like, you know, there was a lot of disappointment, and then there was a coping mechanism that was initiated here, which actually turned someone into somebody kind. And I mean, we all have narcissistic traits. And they are triggered by all manner of things. So depending on whether or not you know, nobody's, you know, it's not black and white. You know, sometimes we can be really nice, sometimes we can be not so nice. It happens to the best of us, you know. So it's not, you know, that it just feels like this event kind of turned this person into this kind of like magician reversed. I just used like a really like kind of abstract example, or a kind of you know, one end of the scale, but it doesn't have to be that severe. But I mean, with the magician reversed, I'm not gonna lie, like I do kind of feel like it was pretty intense in terms of the scope of manipulation. And what I'm also seeing here is I'm seeing that the cup is reversed here. So there was a suppression on some kind of emotion here, and it caused something, a real destabilization of home. And even the way with this Seven of Cups, like this lady is here, it does look like she's just, you know, she could be just, you know, having fun, just having a drink, you know. It just feels like that. I'm just getting the sense of just somebody who wasn't, like, there's alcohol involved. But so what has this got to do with all of this? This is really curious. This is really interesting, actually. So pile one, what does pile one's ancestors want to say to pile one then? This reading was very elusive, you know, like it took me a while to actually sit down and get it done. And I was thinking, like, you know, and everybody's doing readings about, I don't know, like, you know, I'm probably going to do my next reading on it, but I don't know, this ancestors one, it's a weird one. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, you know, plan to do one of that. It was like, no, the ancestors really want to speak. And I have no idea what they're going to say, so we shall soon find out. Okay, so the Queen of Coins is clarified by the Judgment card. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, this is going to be a bit tricksy. I'll just pop that there like that. Judgment, Amazonite. I think there was a lowering of defenses. There was a lowering of defenses, and yes, it does definitely seem like there are some skeletons in the closet, and it also does seem like that there is something that has not been resolved. Five of Coins, Malachite, right, okay. Five of Coins. It's almost like, Oh, okay. Interesting. Really interesting. So I don't know if you've been directly affected by this. There's something that I kind of see in some people, and I've done it myself. I think I did it when I wanted to like run. I just wanted to lock myself away and become a nun and just not really like engage with life again. But this is the sense I'm getting. Like it's almost like you shut yourself away from everything so that you don't have to experience it. It's almost like hiding yourself away in a box so that you don't have to like really feel the pain of what you've gone through previously. And that's what that feels like. And that might be a result of past trauma that you may not even be aware of. You know, you may wonder why that this is something within you that causes you to kind of like shut yourself down. There may also be an avoidance strategy that's happening here. So I don't know. There's something about you being aware of it. Because there's something here that I can clearly see. And I think you can too. Okay, so the Nine of Swords is clarified by the Queen of Cups upright. Yeah, I thought so. Look at these colours compared to that. It's really interesting. It kind of like brings you back to that beautiful kind of pastel. And I was like, something drew me to using this deck. This is the Crystal Visions deck. Is it Crystal Visions? Sorry, Crystal Magic Tarot. I'll list all of them down below, so don't worry about that. But yeah, Morganite. It's something very much about, you know, it's like this aesthetic. It's very kind of loving, gentle, self-care, being in touch with your emotions, understanding what you're doing, rather than the Queen of Coins, who actually has no kind of sense of stability. But it's not the Hermit, so something's telling me that you're actually on your way to understanding that these, I don't know, this is it. I think your ancestors are telling you that you're actually on the way to breaking the generational stuff that they had to go through, and you're working through it, and you're actually working through it in ways that they weren't able to. Temperance reversed, the Magician reversed. Okay, I think what's going on is that you're actually, and what's really interesting is I was going to use lepidolite instead of Cinnabar. I was going to use lepidolite, which is this stone, and that is lepidolite there, the Temperance. But there's something that still needs to be healed. So there's still a way to go on that. And the last card, Two of Coins, that's really interesting because I saw the Three of Coins and the Two of Coins. So we've got the Two of Coins here, which is Bloodstone, and that's the Five of Cups. So what I'm seeing here, part one, is that there was some recent, like some stuff that you're working through currently. You're actually in the process of working it through. And I think you may be wondering, like, what's going on with this? Where has it come from? What is it happening? What's happening with it? And it's actually to do with like some kind of ancestral like patterning. It's not yours specifically. It's just traveled down the bloodlines. So that's really interesting. And the thing is, I think what's happened is that you may have seen some kind of like place where you have been destabilized. And then it's actually grown bigger. It's gotten a lot bigger, and you've been like, what is going on? You've done what you can to kind of step away from the situation and do some kind of self-care. And there's also something that's deeply intuitive about your realization of how you understand yourself. But you know that you can't just assume anything about it. You know, you need to like work through it. So what's going on is then you're taking some time out, but I think you know that it's not really in the right way, you know, because the Five of Coins is not the Hermit. The Five of Coins is a bit woe is me kind of vibe. So you want to kind of get into a space where Three of Coins, okay, Three of Coins is working with other people. So do engage in talking with people, in, you know, collaborating with people in terms of working on this thing, because I don't know, I'm a Capricorn moon. So when I look at my issues in terms of my emotional kind of issues, I work through them. Like I actually work through them. So I Like, and I will employ people. So I will employ a therapist to work through something so that I can actually talk through it. And when I talk to them, I make sure that I work with them. There's no way that I'm just going to talk, because if I just talk, I might as well just journal. What I want to do is I want to look at where my triggers are, and I really want to work through them so that these things don't happen again, and that I can really understand, you know, where it's come from, what process is happening, why am I getting triggered, what's my part to play in this, you know, really break it down. So, you know, there's something, and even if, you know, because also, you know, if you suffer from some kind of trauma or something like that, you may need to investigate into like what type of like therapy that you might need to receive, be it dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT, which is dealing with emotions. It could be cognitive behavioral therapy. It could be, you know, whatever. It could be, you know, EDMR, you know, it could be tapping, could be anything. But make sure that you're talking through with someone to find out exactly what it is. There's just some work that needs to be done in terms of the research of how you need to like approach this sense of, it looks a bit like generational trauma. And I do a lot of work with that. Like I use shamanic journeying for that. And not only that, it can also help you to identify, again, like, oh, do I need to go further into therapy, or do you need to go into shamanic journeying? You might need to go to Reiki, do some kind of Reiki healing. You might need some acupuncture release. Could be anything, you know, including the psychotherapeutic kind of routes that I suggested. So there's some kind of, and it's also a journey here, right? So that's really interesting. They're on a boat. So it could be also like dream work. So there's just something for you to like think about in terms of your investigation with how you kind of explore this, because you're on the precipice of something coming through. And then the Two of Coins here at the bottom, you've got Two of Coins reversed here. So you want to stabilize, you want to balance it, you know. But it kind of woes me isolation and keep myself away from everything that I get triggered from, so that I won't get triggered. That response is not going to work. So you're going to need to think about it a little bit more out the box. Okay, I'll pull out 3 cards. Actually, no, I want to do this one first. So in a way, what your ancestors are telling you is that they want you to heal their stuff, even though I think you are anyway. But they'd like to reveal to you, or they'd like to help you find out what it is. Like, and you will do it. Look at that, Sun and Jupiter. It's very fortuitous. And I also think that there's going to be some kind of thing that's going to help you to kind of move through with it as well, like in a really fortunate way. It's almost like you working through this will bestow blessings upon the entire family. And you know that saying, you know, it's not, I don't know if it's a saying, but people think about like generational trauma and all of the things that we've inherited from our ancestors, but we forget about the things that we have, the good things that we've inherited. And also, when you heal yourself, you heal generations. Like the healing reverberates through time. So it's a beautiful thing you're doing. A beautiful thing. Just don't be afraid to it. I don't know, there may be some fear about like dredging up the past. And I think you should throw that in the bin. Look at that. Look at that. 1111, enlightenment. You're walking a path towards enlightenment where you will reach a state of being that transcends the physical plane. As you embark on a journey within, you touch the divine essence of your existence, discovering the realization, can't read it, sorry, Discovering the realization of your true nature and truth beyond the veil of illusion. Oh, sugar plums, sorry. I'm trying to read it for myself and I'm not looking at the camera. There we go. Okay. Discovering the realization of your true nature and the truth beyond the veil of illusions and ignorance. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, I'm sorry about the noise. That's my heating. But yeah, that's gorgeous. And you've also got the moons, all the moons here as well. The moon phases. I don't know why Spirit always asks me to do these readings at night. I'd much rather it be during the day, but I just know the flash of insight doesn't come until later on in the evening, so there's nothing I can do about it. Sorry, folks. But what I will say is that this is pretty divine. Seems like you're doing some real healing. Okay, we've got no, that's way too many. Sorry. Okay, we'll do 3. All right. So we've got generosity, love, with Jupiter and wisdom. We've got survival. Can you see that? Yeah, just. Okay, survival, which is Neptune, inspiration and reward. And then the last card, which is communication, originality. So, this, I would say, is being inspired by the survival of your ancestors, your line, what you have come through, how you've got where you've got to. Be generous with your wisdom in terms of every step of the way, document it. Look at how you are with others and see how people react to that when you do share your story. You may think that people aren't really interested in that, but this is something that's really important, I think. So be generous with your healing. And also originality, communication. This is a path that hasn't been walked before. So you may need to dredge up the past in a healthy way. Okay, well, I don't know, you know, it's as healthy as it can be, you know. You just take it one step at a time, yeah? You don't need to, Rome wasn't built in a day, so just take it easy. But what I will say, and also not to be funny, like, things will come in its own time. Like, nothing ever reveals itself unless it's supposed to at the right time. Because, like, for example, I didn't really know about my vertex in my chart. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. And now it's come to light. And it's really interesting because it's a part of my chart I've never really looked at. But now it's come to me. And I knew it existed because whenever I do it with my clients, it's fine. But when it comes to me, it's slightly different. So I don't really pay that much attention unless I need to. So that was really interesting. So just remember, like, things that might come out of the blue, not gonna lie, it might do, but just remember that, just take care of yourself along the way and you'll be able to, you know, welcome in this change so that you can really promote some excellent healing through your lineage. Because it really does seem quite profound. I think that's the only word I have for it, really. There's a real profound rebirth for you transforming something toxic, highly toxic, into something that's truly beautiful and useful for you in generations to come. Powerful reading, and you'll get great reward from it. I feel like you might write about it or you might talk about it with people. People are going to really benefit from this beautiful work that you're doing. Pile 1, I hope you enjoyed that reading. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much. This has been an absolute honour to communicate with your ancestors and to allow me to read this message for you. So thank you so much. Take care. I'll see you in the next reading, and remember that honesty is always key. Bye. Pile 2, hello and welcome to your reading. So, sorry, I didn't realise if I'd pressed the button on the camera. So, sorry if it just stopped for a while before I actually started. You chose the blue topaz and you also chose this rainbow heart tarot. Blue topaz is about clarity and also inner peace as well. It's quite similar to quartz in that sense, but it's more about obtaining the sense of clarity that you have kind of derived from your past experiences and manifesting them into something that you can actually work with right now. So, what do your ancestors want to say to you? Now, I was shuffling the cards, getting them ready for this reading. And I've gone into the format where I actually shuffle the cards online, like I do them in front of you. But while I was shuffling, one popped out and it said to me that it really wanted to stay. So we will start with this one, which is soul retrieval. That's the one that came out. And we have middle world, Galena, and number 29. Now, the middle world is, within shamanism, is known as the world is what we live in right now. So we have the lower, the middle, and the upper world. And currently the middle world is basically the reality. Now with Galena, even though it does have some kind of like high vibrations with it, it is essentially lead. So lead is a heavy stone. It's something that causes you to, you know, kind of protect yourself, to kind of shut down. And by this kind of motion of this soul retreat, of this thing here, it's almost like, I don't know if the stone is coming back or if it's going, you know. And the whole idea of soul splitting or soul loss, which is why you would need a soul retrieval, is because it's a result often because of trauma, and that causes the soul to split. And when it does, what you do is essentially send part of your soul to a place where it is kept safe. And then usually, now, parts of soul coming back, I personally believe that they can come back. It takes a lot of personal healing. But often, I think in the way that we're working now, and I think because of like the way that spirituality is moving at the moment in our times, I think that there's a very good likelihood that we do have parts of our soul return to us in a way. But some usually get shut away. This is the more kind of like intense forms of trauma where our soul splits. So what I'm getting here is that you're now ready to receive a soul part that may have gone. Now, where they usually go, we don't know. That's part of, you know, kind of my job to, or like a shamanic practitioner or a shaman, to kind of like go and find it. So let's have a look at what this has got to do with what your ancestors want you to know. Messages from your ancestors. 12th house, of course. Right, okay. So the lower world in my teaching is known as the world of the instinct, the world of the soul, the world of the true sense of self, the animalistic sense, the sense of someone, you know, it's true parts of you. It's also where you will meet your shadow, and reintegrate parts of that. Usually the soul, when you split your soul off, it goes into the lower world, but it's usually because of middle world issues that happens. But it can also be in the middle world. More often than not, though, it is in the lower world, because that's the only world that you really know something about, really, you know. In a way, you know, you've got an unconscious knowing of your lower world, of your lower world self. But it is middle world trauma that usually inflicts that. It's never anything from the upper or the lower worlds that will inflict the trauma of your soul to split. It will be always the middle world. So, and then that leaves you vulnerable to, like, say, if you were to go to other kind of realms. So there's something here that may be coming to light. Wow. The spring. And it's reversed. Okay. I'm just going to have a quick look what the book says about that, because I don't get that often. So let's have a look. So I've just been reminded of something that I saw when I was first reading about blue topaz, and blue topaz actually relieves anxiety. So there may have been some anxiety about something, and I don't know if you would have known what it was. You may not have been clear about what it was, but it might be that you're ready to receive some part of your soul back. Something's coming back to you. I don't think you were entirely sure of how it was going to do that. Wow, branches. Now, branches on the hand are like these kind of things. Like, you know, when it kind of like breaks off. Actually, no, it's not the fork at the end, but it's more like these kind of things. You see how like it's like feathering off? Those are branches. What that usually would indicate, I am not sure. Let me just double check what it says in the book. Well, I got that completely wrong. They are not the branches. That's something else. I don't know what that is, but I'll find out. But really, what the branches are the fingers. The extremities. And the whole idea is like that this is like, so this is the trunk and the main body of the tree, and then these are the branches. So it's really interesting, because when we think about the three worlds within shamanism, we think about the world tree that basically has the roots going down into the lower world. Then you have the trunk, which actually represents the middle world. And then you have the branches, which represents the upper world. And that's exactly what it is. So it's about you're receiving divine guidance. And usually when we think about our ancestors, or when we do shamanic soul traveling and soul journeys, shamanic journeys to the upper world, that is where you connect with your ancestors. You don't connect with them anywhere else. So that's in the shamanic worldview. Okay, so there's unknown information that's coming to you that's here to help relieve a sense of anxiety that has been present with you. It seems like, if this doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. Maybe try another part, but that's what I'm getting so far. Okay, so let's have a look at what this is all about. What does Pile 2's ancestors want to tell Pile 2? Also, just to let you know, for those of you who have been to my readings before, I don't usually have this kind of setup here. It is usually off the screen. I just decided to show you on the screen this time. I wanted to put it up. Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles and we have the Four of Cups. These cards are a little bit bigger, so hopefully I can move these up a little bit so that you can see them. the Hermit, reversed, the Eight of Swords, reversed, and the Seven of Swords reversed. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, you're definitely freeing yourself from something, Pile 2. And I don't know, I feel like you've actually managed to like gain some kind of stability to do that. I wouldn't be surprised also. I wouldn't be surprised if some work had been done previously in past lifetimes to help yourself get out of this. Because it seems like, I don't know, you may have some kind of calling to heal. I mean, to be fair, like I had a feeling when I was doing this reading, when I started to do this reading, that this was a shout out to all of the people that are kind of, you know, cycle breakers. The term cycle breakers are people who decide to not continue with family patterns. And that's going to be, I know, for pile 3 as well, but it was the same for pile 1. And this is happening now because there's a real liberation here, like absolute liberation. It's almost like you've been given the stability to be able to like work through something, and you've been supported. So this way you've been able to kind of, you've actually been hermit-like, because you've taken a real opportunity to kind of get to know yourself in the best possible way. And then you've stepped out you may have traveled or something, or even it might be like a grandparent or someone who traveled previously, and they might have been the cycle breakers, you know. They might have done that, but it's almost like they've laid the groundwork for you to do, because they were getting away from a kind of like really toxic situation. A situation that held them down. And it might have been to do with status. Like it could have been that there was like some kind of like maybe status. It could have been to do with work, but it's something to do with the mind in terms of how we think of ourselves. So there was some kind of breaking away from that. But in the process, there's something that's been lost. So it's about retrieving that. And it might have been the trauma that was being got away from, if that makes sense. Because it's almost like you've had to get away, or this person, or this, maybe the ancestor has had to get away from something in order to realize that they did have a part of their soul missing. And it's almost like there's something about you being able to help them retrieve that, or you retrieving that for yourself in this lifetime, whatever it is, and then you end up healing the life, like you end up healing the ancestral line. Okay, let's clarify. Seven of Swords clarified by the Four of Swords. Look at all these swords. And then Ten of Cups reversed. Okay. Appetite. Page of Wands reversed. Okay. What's going on here? I mean, it was a desperately unhappy situation. I mean, this might actually be happening in this lifetime with you, and it might be a mirror of something that happened previously with a relative. Because the Seven of Swords and the Four of Swords, it's almost like that there was a state of unrest. It's almost like a continuous cycle that's gone on. And even the Eight of Swords reversed and the Ten of Cups reversed. This means that this was a key component to disallowing happiness prevailing within the family line. Then you've also got the Page of Wands with the Hermit. So that would say to me that, you know, that there's been an actual, like, even though you may have like wanted to get away from a situation, you may have wanted to kind of not be in hiding about something, there is this little bit of an avoidance going on and a lack of learning. 9 of coins, yeah. Okay, so I've got a feeling you might have made quite a bit of money, or you might be quite well off compared to your family, or you might have done quite well for yourself in a way that you're independent, and now you're kind of healing from stuff, and now you're starting to kind of gather that, you know, you need to do some work about it, and there has been a sense of avoidance about it, but the unhappiness is almost like it's hassling you so much that you can't ignore it anymore. You have to sort out. Wow. It's almost like the last card allowed itself to like come out. It's like the, you know, I'm just going to arrive. The tower arrives. So yeah. Yeah, I think you had a spiritual awakening, Paul, too. You had a spiritual awakening that caused you to confront these shadows. I think that's what it looks like to me. Interesting, but good, very good. And your ancestor, you know, you're doing this because of the ancestral stuff. That's what your ancestors want you to know. They want you to know that they know what's going on. They're not oblivious to it. They get it. They know it. Okay, so let me have a look at some astrology for you. Can I just have one, please? That'd be really nice. Can I just have one? Just one. Not two, just one. I was saying to Paul one, like, I don't know why, yeah, but you got 2. No, you got 3. No, I'm not having it. You know, I was saying to Paul one, I don't know why Spirit gets me to do these late at night. It's just not really feasible for my... It'd be nice to do them during the day, but Spirit wants it now, so there's not much I can do about it, really. Oh, crying out loud. Okay, right, hold on. Let me pick one. Venus, Saturn. Okay, Venus. I'm going to put her here. Venus, Saturn. Talk about learning the hard way. Learning to love the hard way. It's been a real lesson. And a painful one at that. A hard lesson in love. That's what I see that. But it's almost like you couldn't learn any other way, which is why we've got the 8 of Swords reversed. You had to learn that way because it's almost like you didn't listen. You weren't listening to yourself. It had to, like, you know, it's that whole thing with like things have to happen the way that they did, because if it didn't happen in that particular way, then you never would have taken really any notice of what was going on. It's almost like what's happened. So it's almost like a lesson that's been dealt with love. It's very valuable though. It's going to teach you a heck of a lot. And it is teaching you a lot about yourself. It's teaching you how to love others. Okay, so you've got number 88. Gratitude. You are now a vessel of abundance and prosperity, overflowing with the gifts of the universe. Cultivate gratitude in your heart, for it is the fertile soil that nurtures the seeds of bliss. Remember, a grateful heart is like a magnet, for miracles, a sacred invitation to the richest of blessings. Oh, I know it's difficult to be grateful sometimes for the experiences that we go through, but yeah, it's all happening. It's all happening for you. Okay, so we've got self-esteem, power, Mercury, communication. I can't have all of those. None. Okay, I'm just going to take those 3 then. And then we've got intuition. Can you see that? Yeah. Got intuition. Mars, energy, beliefs. And then we've also got communication, Mercury, speak out. So, what I'm getting here, my beautiful pile 2s. Wow, you've got 2 Mercuries here. Okay. And you've got throat chakra, 3rd eye, and solar plexus. Okay, so I think you going through this process is going to heighten these areas. It seems like you're changing some like intense core beliefs about yourself. And because Mars is quite intense, I feel like you've got like a really good determination to be able to change things. There is something about you actually speaking out about this. That's interesting. Similar to pile 1. There's something about you communicate. I don't know, actually. I think pile 1 did get that. It's about you being able to communicate your like what's going on, to be fair. What's actually really happening. And power as well, and self-esteem. Because I don't know. You may have been a little bit of a people pleaser. You may have been a little bit of somebody who like kind of tried to kind of keep the peace, and then you had to get away from things in order for you to like reclaim your power. So yeah, but what your ancestors want to say to you, pile 2, is that similar to pile 1, you're breaking the cycle. You are breaking the cycle, but that's only because you actually fell into it before. It seems like you went on the same merry-go-round to a certain extent, but then you've had to awaken to it. And I think that you've had to learn things a little bit in a hard way in order for things to become really clear. And I don't know, you may seem a little bit anxious about things, but it's going to resolve itself. I think you're just going to have to like just have faith in yourself and love for yourself. I think it's really important that you love yourself fiercely through this, because if you don't, who is going to, you know? Pile 2, I hope you enjoyed that reading. That's what your ancestors want you to say. Love yourself fiercely through this process, because they do. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you like this reading, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your energy. It's been an absolute honour. Have a wonderful morning, evening, night, whenever you're choosing to watch this. And remember that honesty is always key. Bye. Pile 3, hello and welcome to your reading. So you chose this Magnesite stone, and you also chose this card deck, the World Unknown Tarot. So I'm just going to pop that over here for a while before I continue with your oracle cards. Magnesite is a stone of you being able to bring things up to the surface, and then you are able to deal with them and face them with a sense of compassion, love and understanding that you may not have done so with previously when you had seen these things in yourself. So there's a bit of shadow work going on here. I'm going to pop that there. And for those of you who are my regular subscribers and choosing this pile and haven't looked at any of the other piles, I've decided to use this kind of aesthetic because these beautiful crystals are always usually surrounding me, but I don't usually have them in the reading. So I just thought I should have them in the reading. It'll be much nicer to do that. So what does pile 3's ancestors want to say to pile 3? Ancestor healing, and we have amber, and it's tree number 1. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. Wow, you got the same branches, but you got it reversed. Pole 1 and pole 2 got the same. And I've shuffled the cards, trust me. I've shuffled them. And Neptune, okay. Interesting. So interesting, we've got this tree, we've got 2 trees here. I'm curious. Harpy eagle, wow, okay. Harpy eagle is the largest eagle out there. And it's a sacred bird, a very sacred bird. You're having to do some real kind of healing here. Not to say that the other piles didn't have to do that, but it seems like you've got the big guns that have come out to kind of help you with this one, because you're dealing with something maybe pretty deep. Also with Neptune as well, there's some deep emotional wounding that's happened. You may have had some things where it's damaged some things very deeply. So we can have a look more so at the cards with the tarot. But what I'm getting is that there was an injustice that was done. And I mean, to be fair, like in all of the piles, there are this, but this seems to be more prevalent, that you are intentionally healing something from your ancestors. Like whoever's doing the healing anyway kind of has a job, but there's something intentional here. It's almost like as if only you could do it. So for example, when I did my research in using the shamanic journey to help with ancestral healing and ancestral trauma, it was almost like some people had the key to be able to do this sense of healing, and it doesn't feel like any other person in their family could have done it. And that's still quite general in that respect, but it's almost like you're going in here with an intention to do that, as opposed to it just happening as a result of you doing the healing for yourself, if that makes sense. That's what I'm getting. So there's an intention here, because the intuition is really strong. And you know, you've got this big power animal of this harpy eagle. What would you like to say to pile 3, pile 3's ancestors? Thank you. The 10 of Pentacles reversed. The 3 of Wands reversed. The 5 of Swords reversed. The Tower of the Moon, sorry. And the 7 of Swords reversed in exactly the same position as pile 2. If you are attracted to pile 2 or feel drawn to pile 2, please do go and check it out. There may be something there for you as well. Definitely breaking of a pattern of behaviour. Of some kind of like, you know, yeah, you're breaking a status quite similar to pile 2 actually. Something that's been built, so it might be that there's been like some kind of expectations that have been built over family generations, or has been passed down through family and it's been broken here. Like you're going, it's not that it's not that it's been broken, you realise that it's actually quite fake. And the intentions of that do not work. So it's, I don't know, either you or somebody within the family line turned it on its head to create their own way of getting out. Very similar to Pile 2, actually. There is a little bit of a dynamic where maybe someone was ostracized. Some kind of trying to bury that person, almost scapegoaty in a way. But that person who left refused to kind of be defeated by it. And there was some kind of like treachery that was overcome. And that's because this person kind of detached. So what I'm seeing, even though I don't see the classic cards, which I would see, which would be the Magician reversed and the Emperor reversed, people, manipulative characters, I don't see any of that. So I've got a feeling it might have been the whole family that were like that. And someone managed to kind of like, you know, it's just been something that's been happening throughout lifetimes. But there has been something that hasn't wanted to give up. And it's taken someone who truly accesses their intuition and their feminine self, the unknown sense of self, the most intuitive form of self, in order to see the truth and to admit that everything else has been kind of built on a lie. If that doesn't resonate with you, it might not be your pile, but that's what's coming out in the cards, so FYI. Okay, let's have a look at what this is about. You know, as with all of these, right, these are general readings, don't make them fit. You know, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. It's just the reading. Queen of Wands, Tanzanite, King of Cups, Sugarlight. Interesting. Oh, that reminds me, I had such a beautiful Sugarlight ring and I lost it. Oh. Knight of Coins. What's all it? See? Oh my god. I told you. Right, it's really interesting. We didn't have, you know, the classic kind of, but the classic people, but now we have the people. They're all turning up now. But they're all upright. So I don't think that they were necessarily anybody. Okay. Okay. Wow, that's so interesting. They're very similar to Pile 2. Because they had these two cards. I think even this card as well. So there seems like some kind of a good dynamic. It doesn't feel like it's toxic, but it's almost like the sense of having something really good has actually been in its own way the thing that's kind of bound you. Does that make sense? Or like bound the situation. You know, like when you hear about people that have like a lot of opportunities and they still can't seem to work it out. And it's not because there's anything wrong with them or anything. It just happens to be that way. Like, it's just sometimes it's just difficult and people just find it tough for it to work out. That's kind of what's happened here. I would go as far as to say that sometimes when one is born into a family where a lot of good things have happened, the expectations of having to like live up to the standards of that family can really paralyze us. And that's what I'm seeing here. Because we've got like an all-star cast here We've got like the Queen of Wands, we've got the King of Cups, we've got the Knight of Coins, we've got the Nine of Coins as well. So there's like a whole kind of sense of like true independence and real kind of striving for ambition. There's a real ambitious sense I'm getting from this. And then we've got the Eight of Swords that just appears here. So it makes me think, why would it? So, okay. So what your ancestors want to say to you is that, you know, kind of empower yourself with the gifts of the people that are around you, rather than feeling limited by it. Don't succumb to any kind of pressure, because this is actually, you know, all in your head. You know, you don't have to think that way. It's actually really beautiful, because you've got like real sense of creativity and kind of real intuitiveness. You've got some amazing gifts that have come here, and they actually really help you. But I don't know, I feel like there's something that's not allowing you to branch out and allow yourself to receive the gifts of your ancestors. That's what's happening. And your ancestors are saying, can you please receive the abundance that we want to give to you, because we love you and we care about you and we want to see you succeed. We love you very much. That would make sense with the branches going down. You're very like, you've got some good stuff going on here, but obviously, you know, like there's a sense of fighting with oneself, I feel. But, you know, you've got what you need, you know. You don't need anything else, Pile 3. You've got everything you need. I mean, I don't really see you talking down to yourself or anything like that, but I don't know, I just don't feel like you're receiving something. Maybe you don't believe that you deserve it, I don't know, but that there's some kind of like mental prison that's happening here. Do you believe that you need something else? Because I don't really get it. I think you've just got to believe that you've got those qualities as well. That's what it is. It's not really like self-flagellation or like self-negative talk. It's a prison of swords. It's thinking that you can't. That's really interesting. And your ancestors are like, you can do this. That's what they're saying. Oh, 2 cards, all right. No, just one. Can I just have one ancestor? I'm sorry. I know that this person probably needs 2, but I'm just going to have one. I'm sorry. Okay, so we've got Mars, Uranus. Okay, wow. Understandable. Mars, Uranus. I mean, I think you just got to have confidence in yourself and the unknown. You really do. You have to trust pile 3. You have to trust that you're going to be okay, because your ancestors have got your back big time. They are here to support you. They are waiting to allow you to. They're waiting for you to allow them to support you. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Progress. Your advancement in all areas of life is a testament to your inner strength and willingness to embrace change, a growth mindset, and a growth mindset can be a powerful catalyst for transformation. Take a moment to celebrate your progress and recognize the new level of awareness that is emerging from within. Yeah. Okay. It's all right. And take your time, yeah? No rush. There's no rush. You don't need to rush this process. You don't need to get anywhere fast. This type of healing takes the entire life. It's not like, oh yeah, I just like do some healing and then it's all over. No, this is a lifetime thing where we take steps to do this. And I don't know, some of you may think that you've done all the healing that you need to already. That mindset is not going to help you at all. Communication, voice your feelings. If you need to go and speak it to someone, go and speak it to someone. Love. Is that all the cards? Yeah, it is. Love, forgiveness, inspiration. We've got Neptune here. Inspiration. Allow yourself to be inspired by the work that you're doing. Allow yourself to feel the love of what you're doing. Okay? And the last one. Intuition, detachment. Again, Uranus. Oh no. Oh, yeah, Uranus. So don't get attached to anything. Just go with the flow. Pile 3. Just go with the flow. Because it feels like you've got, not only do you have animal guides, your ancestor guides, divine energy as well, which has come through. It's all like rooting for you to make sure that you're not in any kind of mental prison that is stopping you from where you need to get to. Part 3. And that's what your ancestors are saying. Because it's actually your destiny to be independent and successful. And you have to believe that in yourself. Because, you know, don't feel any pressure. Just think that you're part of this. You're part of a legacy. And that's what's important. So, and if for those of you who can't see that, that's what it looks like. That card. But anyway, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed that reading. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. Your ancestors want to tell you that you've got this. You've got this. You've got this. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your energy and for me to communicate with your ancestors. What an honour, and I feel really, really blessed that I was able to do this for you. Have a beautiful morning, day, night, whenever you're choosing to watch this. And remember that honesty is always key. Bye.